Hi, welcome to the fourth video in our series outlining some of the key learnings that we took over the number of years that we moved towards remote working. And what we felt was in the current climate, it would be quite useful to share some of those mistakes, some of the things we did well, some of the things we didn't do so well in that journey where we had the luxury of trial and error over a number of years. Because I know a lot of the people in our community just don't have that luxury at the moment, have had to do very quickly what we took a number of years to do. So the previous videos we talked about the importance of the ability to trust and verify what your team are doing. The second one we talked about the attitudes and the assumptions that we as managers and business owners take into this experience, how important that is to the success or failure of the journey. And in this video I want to talk about that sort of backbone of all of this, which is the systems, having the right systems in place to make remote working work well. I don't want to talk too much about video communication. Obviously that's something that we at the recruitment company are very passionate about. Video is kind of our thing, but all of us have suddenly got Zoom, we've all got conference meeting rooms, etc. Very important to working from home. But what is more important than the actual technology is how you're using it. It's making sure that the video platform you have does what you want it to do. Is it for external communication, just internal communication? And it's important that when you have that technology, you implement that into the systems and how you communicate within your business. So making sure that as people become less and less connected, more isolated, that video calls become the standard. Where if you're calling a colleague with a question, give them a video call. And us as leaders need to be leading that. We need to be integrating video into every system we have, every meeting, every catch up, every phone call between us and colleagues. The phone system you have for working from home is very important. Obviously having a VoIP system you can use anywhere is critical, but also on the back end of that, how do you as a manager report on stuff like phone time? How do you know how much time your team is spending on the phone? For some roles that isn't important. For sales roles, particularly for recruitment, that's very important. So for us, we need to make sure we have a phone system where we can get fairly superficial levels of phone reports on how much raw input people are putting into a day. And if people are succeeding, if people are getting the results you want, you don't need to drill down into that level. But if they're not getting the results, you need to look at that one, lift the hood up a little bit, have a look inside. Are they putting that raw input in? If they are, they're working hard, then something's wrong, you can step in and help. If they're not getting the results, they're not putting the raw input, there's your answer. They need to up their game a little bit. So having the right level of reporting around those communication devices, communication technology is very critical. In terms of other systems you need in place, you need to think about your meeting systems. Meeting is a system that holds that whole company together. And meetings, we could talk forever about what makes a good meeting, what doesn't. It needs to be punctual, it needs to be to the point, it needs to be succinct and useful, and bring utility to everyone that's involved in it. And as you go remote, that becomes more and more important, because it's very easy when you're in a meeting that you're bored to just bring up another screen and sit in Facebook or check email or something when that meeting's happening. So meetings need to be thought out, so they are precise, they are specific, they are useful. And you need to make sure that the system behind that your meeting system fits in with everyone, that it is absolute, that people aren't turning up late because they have this sort of stuff going on, that there are convenient times of the day for people, there are not too many of them, not too few, that you really think through your meeting system so that it gives you the right level of visibility and everyone else the right level of visibility on how everyone else is working. Feedback is one thing that is instantly missing. As soon as people start working from home, we miss out on a lot of those feedback cues that we get without thinking about it at work. And that's visual cues, verbal cues. You can tell from people's jokes whether they think you're working hard or not working hard. And having a formal structure, again, feedback is a lot less effective than being able to visually see a boss frowning at you or smiling at you, or knowing at that level whether you're doing well or not. So you need to make sure that you build into your systems that ability for feedback loops, for giving people opportunities to ask questions, to present what they've done, and get feedback on that. So even if it's just sort of had an extra 2-minute catch up with everyone in your team at the end of the day, making sure that the team leaders are catching up at the end of the day with their team, adding that extra little meeting into a system can replace some of having to do sort of big formal weekly reviews, etc. So making sure you have a system that facilitates that quick, rapid and instant feedback loop is critical. Having a system around how you hire people is very challenging at the best of time when people are working remotely, particularly in the current environment, because we're all going to be hiring people that we're not going to meet, starting people that we're not going to meet before they start, and putting a lot of trust in them. So what we need to ensure is that the recruitment system we have in place is very robust. So it's looking at what are those important traits that we want to be hiring for, and making sure that the questions we're asking people, that the interview structure is built up to identify those traits that are going to be critical for us. Getting as many people involved in that process as you can. And then when someone starts, make sure that you are utilising video and really over communicating everything to that new employee, getting as much exposure to everyone at an individual level as you can, so that they're maximising their emotional attachment to your business straight off, which is very difficult to do remotely. So having a really good, strong system around how you hire people, how you integrate your values, and everything right the way through that recruitment process, right the way through consistently into induction as well, is very critical. So the systems really are the backbone of what you're doing. You have to really think through how they all interconnect, how they connect with what it is you're trying to achieve. Are they adding additional layers of reporting and micromanagement and observance on top of stuff you don't need, just to get the right level of visibility, the right level of control is the critical thing and the hardest thing that you can do in remote working. So I hope that's helpful. More than happy to discuss some of the specific technologies that we've implemented, that we've trialed over the years that we found really useful around all of those things, around review processes, feedback loops, reporting, phones, videos, etc. Happy to share all of our feedback on all of those. Just drop me a message and I'll get back to you. So good luck with it. Hope the journey is going okay for you, and stay safe, stay healthy, and good luck.